On tonight's Wales at 6, the first woman Archbishop of the Church in Wales. So who is Cherry Van and how will she steer the institution through turbulent times?
People have been damaged and I want to honour that and acknowledge that and apologise for that and say that the Church needs to repent for that.
Also tonight, a sentencing error sees two paedophiles called back to court to have their jail terms changed. We'll have the latest. Plus, Welsh hope Darcy Harry prepares to compete on home soil. We tee off with her in the Women's Open. And from clubs to cubs, the tiger babies that are wowing the crowds and helping to save the endangered species. Hello, good evening. Wales has its first ever woman leader of the Church in Wales. Cherry Van, who's gay, will be the new Archbishop of Wales, replacing Andrew John, who retired following a turbulent period for the Church here. In a moment, we'll be hearing from her, but first let's look at her journey to this pivotal moment in her life and what it could mean for the institution she now leads. Cherry Van has made history many times throughout her career in the Church. She spent much of her life in the Church of England, where in the 1990s she became the first woman ordained as a priest. In January 2020, she became the Bishop of Monmouth and the first LGBT bishop in the Church in Wales. She has long campaigned for the rights of LGBTQ+ people in the Church across the country. And today, after being elected by the majority of her colleagues, she makes history again as Wales' first woman Archbishop. But it won't be a simple task, leading the Church through one of its most turbulent periods yet. She replaces the former Archbishop Andrew John, who last month announced he would retire with immediate effect, following two damning reports on activities at Bangor Cathedral, where he was also bishop. Concerns were raised about safeguarding and a culture of excessive drinking and the blurring of sexual boundaries. There's no suggestion that Andrew John behaved inappropriately. The new Archbishop now has work to do to reassure her congregations across the country whilst leading the organisation into the modern world. Well, let's go live to our national correspondent Rob Osborne. Rob, history made today then?
Yep, John, this is the church where history was indeed made just a few hours ago. The 15th Archbishop of Wales, the first woman, the first lesbian, but Cherry Van doesn't want to make much of identity politics, but she knows that there will be plenty in the church who will not be happy with her appointment. She wants to reach out to those people and talk to them. She's also appointed at what is probably the biggest crises the church has ever faced in its 100-and-odd year history. I talked about that with her earlier, but also began by asking how she felt about all of this today.
A bit unreal at the moment. It all happened very quickly in the end, but having put my name forward and been nominated, I obviously knew there was a possibility, so you prepare for that kind of internally, and so when it happened, it's just been a roller coaster really since then.
A historic day in many ways for the church today, but also at a time of turbulence.
Yep.
You will know that, probably the most difficult time in the church's history in Wales. What do you feel your first steps should be in regards to the turbulence the church is under?
So I think we need a lot of healing and reconciliation. I'm very aware that I'm only here because of the considerable pain that is taking place in Bangor, and people have been very hurt and are still hurting a lot. And the other news stories that you will be aware of that have popped up over the last 6 months. So there are clearly issues that we have to address. But there's a lot of healing and reconciliation to do as well, because people are hurt. And I think when people are hurting and have been damaged, they want to be listened to and they want to be taken seriously, as well as having their concerns addressed. So I shall be doing a lot of listening amidst all the things that I will have to do.
There will be some people who will be unhappy with your appointment, for being a gay person and for perhaps being a woman too. What do you say directly to those people?
I say that they are perfectly entitled to their views. I understand that that there will be people who struggle, both with the fact that I'm a woman and in a civil partnership. But I want them to feel part of the church. I am not going to exclude them. I am not going to say that you don't belong, because they do. I have no right to say that, and I wouldn't dream of saying that.
Thanks for joining us. So there we are, that is the new Archbishop of Wales, someone who has made history today, and I think the church overall will be hoping this is the start of a new chapter. But it has to be said, the problems for the church are not over yet. There is a period of listening and responding, and the new Archbishop says she will be more open and transparent. A criticism that the church in Wales hasn't been that. Also a big issue next year, returning to the issue of gay marriage. Should the church in Wales allow it? That will be reviewed next year. But today, a moment of history, John, for Wales.
OK, Rob Osborne in Chepstow, thanks very much indeed. A developing story now, and some flights at Cardiff Airport have been affected by a major technical issue at UK air traffic control. All outbound flights in the UK were affected, according to Gatwick Airport, despite the system now being restored. Delays and cancellations are still being reported at airports across the country, with passengers being warned to check before they travel. A man who pleaded guilty to a string of child sex offences has had his sentence increased. Stuart Compton had admitted planning to rape children as young as 8 with his partner Tracy Turner. Well, our correspondent Richard Morgan has the details from Merthyr Crown Court.
Today, Judge Tracy Lloyd-Clark said there'd been a miscalculation in the sentence handed down on Monday. As a result, the custodial part of Stuart Compton's life sentence has been increased from 7 years to a minimum of 8 years and 99 days. His co-defendant, Tracy Turner, had her sentence reduced from 12 years to 10 years, with 2 years on extended licence. Now, this was a harrowing case. The court here in Merthyr was told that Turner and Compton had exchanged almost 100,000 messages describing in detail the sex attacks they planned to carry out on 3 children, all aged below the age of 13 at the time. These messages, the court heard, started off as fantasy, but became an obsession. Victim impact statements by the parents involved were read out to the court. One described the offences as incomprehensible and added, "I hope what they have done to me and my family stays with them for the rest of their lives." Now today, Compton and Turner both appeared via video link from the prisons where they're beginning their sentences. Neither showed any reaction to what was being said in court, but on Monday both wept as the judge told them they tried to minimise their sexual interest in children. She told Compton he would remain in prison until the parole board considers it safe for him to be released. Richard Morgan, ITV News at Merthyr Crown Court.
Welsh care homes were the focus of the COVID-19 inquiry today, which continues in London. The care sector was hit particularly hard during the pandemic, and today Welsh members of the COVID-19 Bereaved Families for Justice group shared their experiences. Our health reporter Katie Fenton has the story.
Would you like me to change your cup of tea? Yes, put it in a cup?
Yes. 5.5 years since COVID-19 hit Wales, and daily life at Springbank Care Home in Barry is mostly back to normal. But what happened here during the pandemic still haunts these corridors. Navjeet was the first staff member here to catch the virus. She recovered. Her colleague of the same age did not. And the deaths kept on coming.
We lost 3 residents in a day. I think that was the hardest day in my career. We lost 1 resident early hours in the morning, then by 9 o'clock another one gone. I lost a colleague who was young, healthy, and relatives as well. Some of my staff been on a long-term sick leave because they lost their family members. There was no guidance, there was no advice, we didn't have enough PPEs. And reflecting on those days, you know, I can talk through all the stories day by day, what happened, but the emotional impact we all have had, I don't think I can get over all my life.
For months, much-needed visits from loved ones were reduced to waving through closed windows. For the last 5 weeks, the UK COVID-19 inquiry has been hearing about what happened in care homes. And on the investigation's penultimate day, the daughter of former RAF Group Captain Harry Griffiths today shared one haunting final moment with her father, who died from COVID in his Machynlleth care home.
A three-way WhatsApp call with my brother, Dad, and me outside the window. Dad was in bed and looked dreadful, and he could hear our voices. He knew we were with him. And so we were with him, and he was reaching out to me to help him. And once again, I was powerless, I was impotent, I couldn't do it.
The Welsh Government has previously admitted that Wales was not as ready as it could have been for a pandemic. Preparations for the next one are underway. But in care homes like this one, the impact of COVID still feels raw. Katie Fenton, ITV News in Barry.
Well, do stay with us. There's plenty more on the way. Matt Southcombe is getting into the swing of things.
Yes, join me as the world's best descend on Royal Porthcawl for the Women's Open.
And there might not be tiger on that course, but there are 4 new arrivals at this Welsh wildlife park. We meet the rare Sumatran cubs who are helping to save this endangered species. Now, a little-known story of how refugee children were brought to Wales nearly 90 years ago is inspiring a new generation of football fans. Newport County officials have been overwhelmed by the response to their new kit, commemorating Basque refugee children fleeing the Spanish Civil War. A group of 56 children were brought to Caerleon, as Hamish Auskerry now reports.
Newport County is not a football club associated with the colour red, but after this season, perhaps that will change.
Antwi! Oh, what a goal!
Last night, fans of the Exiles watched their team score great goals while wearing a special new away kit that celebrates a chapter of Gwent history that even many locals had never heard until recently. It's a history that's personal to Stephen Benavente.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Alongside 55 other children, his father, Andres, escaped by boat across the Bay of Biscay to Caerleon when the Spanish dictator Franco started bombing his own country in 1937.
The ones who do know about them thought highly of them and had lots of good feelings towards them as a bunch of kids that were here.
What was life like for him and the others who came in such difficult circumstances and made a life here in Caerleon?
Difficult, I think, is the simplest way to explain it. But from what he told me, he said the one thing that he remembers from the time that they were all together was the kids were terrified. And when they had lessons where they were given things to draw with, there were always pictures that showed cannons and planes dropping bombs.
Hundreds of children have been evacuated from the danger zone at Bilbao.
In honour of the Basque children of 37, Newport County have broken with tradition and created a new strip that displays the names of those who fled to Wales, including Stephen's dad. And that was the idea of the club's creative director, Neil Hurd, who last night got to see his vision come to life.
It was a bit of a pinch me, just seeing it on the pitch and seeing people in the crowd as well, on the terraces wearing it. Some people, I think, when it was announced we had a creative director, were thinking, why are they spending money, or why are they putting time into that, let's get the pitch right. But the two go totally hand in hand. The club can't grow unless we get more revenue. We can't get more revenue unless we get more of an audience. So it's a way of thinking creatively.
They may never see their mothers and fathers again.
So far, it's been a huge success for the club, with almost unprecedented shirt sales here and over in Spain. If last night is anything to go by, fans will remember some fantastic goals with the image of the Basque country colours.
Oh, it's a corker!
After their first competitive game of the season saw them win a nail-biting penalty shootout in the Cup, the legacy of the Basque boys of 37 may just inspire Newport County to more glory on the pitch. Hamish Auskerry, ITV News, Caerleon.
A corker of an idea. Now, the Women's Open Golf Championship takes place in Porthcawl this weekend in what's expected to be the largest female sporting event ever hosted in Wales. The biggest stars will be there, competing for one of the most coveted major trophies in the sport. On the course for us this evening is our sport reporter, Matt Southcombe. Matt, lots to look forward to then.
Yes, very much so, John. As you said, all the big names are here. World number one, Nelly Korda, the defending champion, Lydia Ko, UK number one, Charlie Hull, and among them, just over my shoulder practicing there, is Darcy Harry, 22 years old. This Royal Porthcawl is her home course. In her debut season as a professional, she already has the win under her belt, which enabled her to qualify for this tournament. She's adding the final preparations ahead of it now. Recently, though, we caught up with her out there on the course. Darcy Harry is living the dream. At the age of just 22, she already has her first win as a professional golfer. Now she is preparing to compete in the Women's Open Championship at her home course. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm Darcy. Nice to meet you.
Right then, so what's the plan today?
So we're going to go out and play a few holes and you're going to caddy for me.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you very much for bringing the small bag today.
Yeah, I hope it's not too heavy.
We'll see how it goes. What's it like then to qualify for your first major, but also on your home course?
Yeah, I definitely found a little bit of pressure on it to try and qualify, and I'm a bit nervous for sure. I mean, I think the worst thing would be to tee it up in the final qualifying the week of the Open, and if not getting in, I'd be devastated. But it's very exciting. I think it's anyone's dream, especially in their rookie year, to play a major on their home course.
There's a lot to sort out in there when you're a caddy.
Oh yeah, caddy job I think is one of the hardest ones. Did I give you my glove?
You did, yeah.
Thank you.
So talk to me about, when you're travelling, you're paying for all your own expenses. That brings about its own pressure, because if you don't have a good week, then that all adds up.
Yeah, especially on the women's tour, there's a lot more pressure. We don't make near enough as the men's do. Caddies add up, and especially if you're missing cuts, you still got to pay caddies. So a lot of the time for a lot of players, you probably find you're in a loss. That can become quite challenging mentally as well then, and a lot of stresses. Yeah, it's really good.
Might have an eagle on the cards.
Yeah, I do like an eagle. I'm actually leading on the tour for the most eagles.
Are you?
This season, yeah.
That's a stat.
Yeah, I love an eagle.
So is that your style of player? Would you say you're quite aggressive?
I'm a longer hitter of the end, but I'd say my wood game is very straight. So when there's tight pins, I'm usually happy smacking a wood at it. And so I'd probably say par 5 player-wise, I'm very good because I'm quite confident with my woods.
Yeah. .47. And what do you hope the sort of future is for your career then? I know it's a difficult question so early on, but where do you hope
I'd love to be on LPGA.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal for any player who turns professional for the women. But I do think Europe's going to get better, and I mean, if it is, I absolutely love playing. I mean, we don't just play in Europe, we play Australia, we do Asia, so yeah, I'd happily stay on the European tour. It's so friendly, it's lovely, and it's a great atmosphere. So yeah, but LPGA is my dream, and hopefully getting into majors every year, and yeah, playing against the best players in the world.
So what do you think then, Darcy? I think we're about 2 under there through those few holes. Do you think I've got the job?
Definitely. You got potential.
Well, there we go then. Maybe we'll have to start chatting about a fee.
Yeah.
Well, as you can see, I didn't get the job, unfortunately, but I am delighted to be joined by the CEO of Wales Golf, Hannah McAllister. Hannah,
hi.
All the big names are here. There's a good atmosphere here. How excited as an organisation are you?
Oh, we're super excited that this event has come to Wales. It's the biggest female sporting event ever to come to Wales, and you would have seen all the stars here competing, and what amazing platform platform to elevate the game. And all these golfers are going to be able to inspire the next generation of young women and girls coming into the game. We've got brilliant activities here. There's a massive buzz around the place. Lots of people are taking up golf for the first time in the swing zone here today, and there's just loads going on here. We've even been working with some of the best golfers, and they've been the former golfer Lydia Coe has done a clinic with Llantrisant, which is our junior club of the year, and there's just a brilliant buzz about the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we know, golf is a pretty expensive sport, or can be. Equipment is expensive. Even just a few balls on the range to have a go can be expensive. So what can you do as an organisation to remove those barriers?
Yeah, so we've tried to remove those barriers to ensure that we're running great schemes around the country where you can just give golf a go. If you pop on our website, there's going to be give golf a go activities and also new to golf activities at golf clubs. So if you just want to pick up the club at very low cost, then you can do that. But there is a version of game for everyone. In fact, golf is a really low cost sport. That is a bit of a perception. So for a junior, it's on average £80 to play golf for the whole year. So it is great value, actually.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Hannah, thank you very much for joining us today. Well, John, the competition gets underway here in Porthcawl as of tomorrow. All the big names are here. There's a great atmosphere. And as Hannah mentioned, the biggest female-only sporting event ever to be hosted in Wales, part of this amazing summer of women's sport in Wales. It's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, it looks absolutely amazing. And Matt, sorry about the caddying job. You're watching Wales at 6. Thanks for your company tonight. A look ahead now to the ITV Evening News.
Coming up on the programme. Bidding farewell to their favourite bad boy. Fans gather in Birmingham for the funeral of the Black Sabbath star Ozzy Osbourne. Tsunami warnings across the Pacific after a powerful earthquake off Russia sparks fear and evacuations. And under attack by donkeys, the New Forest residents who've learnt to dread bin day. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, if you were watching last night, you'll remember we ended the programme with cute dogs looking for new homes. Well, tonight we switch from canines to cats, but not the kind you'd want roaming around your kitchen looking for snacks, especially when they're fully grown. Yes, it's time to meet the new additions to a Welsh wildlife park, which has seen the largest litter of Sumatran tigers to be born anywhere in the UK. The 4 cubs were born at the beginning of June, but now they're ready to say hello to our reporter Lewis Rhys-Jones, and he was there for the special moment.
11-year-old Jaya's taking things easy following his morning feed, and so too is his daughter Zaza. And while these beautiful tigers always command attention, it's the new additions to the family that people are desperate to get a glimpse of.
We knew that Sarima was pregnant and she was showing all the signs that she was going to give birth pretty imminently. We heard the shout before we saw any babies, so we offered Sarima her breakfast outside, so she wasn't worried that we were checking the babies at all. She was out having her breakfast, which is priority when you've had 4 babies, I'm sure. You don't get tea and toast when you're a tiger, you get breakfast outside instead. And my goodness me, when we shone that light round the corner of that cubbing den and I saw 4, you could have picked my jaw up off the floor. Just over the moon. They're such a rare species that to breed Zaza last year was incredible, but to have 4 in one go is just fantastic.
Kim and her team certainly have plenty to do taking care of the UK's largest litter of Sumatran tigers.
We will sex them to make sure how many males and females we've got. We'll weigh them and we'll microchip them. That's all part of standard care for the cubs, and then we'll do it again. We'll do another check at 12 weeks and then it's over to mum. We're not going in after that point because they get a bit big and the teeth get a bit sharper after that point.
Manor Wildlife Park are part of the European Endangered Species Programme, which is helping bolster populations.
Tigers have been on this planet for 2 million years. So we're now down to 400 Sumatran tigers left in the wild. So it's absolutely critical that zoos play a vital role in keeping the species alive for the future.
And now the naming process is the next thing on the agenda, is it?
Naming is going to be a big thing because if I had my way, they would have human names. So they'd be like, I don't know, Bob.
Basil.
Or Basil. Basil the tiger, fabulous. But let's face it, they are in Wales. We're very lucky that we've got our 7 tigers here in Wales. Should they be Welsh names? Should they be Sumatran names? I think we're going to open it to the floor.
Following in their mother's footsteps and now able to enjoy the outdoors, there's no doubt the Sumatran tiger family have become the stars of this Pembrokeshire Zoo. Lewis Rhys-Jones, ITV News.
What an amazing sight. Well, lots of sunshine around for many today. Let's get the latest forecast with Des.
Outbreaks of ancient sites will gradually settle into an evening of pizza plates al fresco. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, I'm sure it hasn't escaped your attention. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of July, and it's been a fairly pleasant day. Decent spells of sunshine, a little bit of rain early on in the morning, and temperatures just about where they should be for this stage in the year. Now, it is high pressure that's a dominating feature. Its centre being towards the Azores, its fingers reaching to our shores. Unfortunately, it isn't centred over us, which means we are seeing frontal systems sweeping, giving us a little bit more in the way of cloud and isolated showers. But certainly, by the time we head towards Saturday, wide isobars, a bit more in the way of sunshine coming through. Friday and Saturday aren't looking too bad. As we push into the overnight story, we are seeing a wonderful sunset. And ultimately, though, once we get towards the back end of the night, an occluded front brings in cloud, low cloud base, and ultimately some showers. You'll notice as well, once you push to the back end of the night, it is starting to feel fairly humid as temperatures dip down to around 15 degrees. And that's what we wake up to. A fair amount of cloud, hill fog, murky conditions, showery outbreaks of rain. Once you get to the middle part of the morning, though, that rain intensifies and we could see around 15 millimetres in a short space of time, and thunderclaps as well. Ultimately, though, it does move out of the way, moving towards the southern part of the UK, leaving behind a drier end to the day. We've still got that cloud and isolated showers, but a much drier. And if you enjoy the sunshine for any length of time, it is really going to feel fairly warm. The winds are moderate coming from the northwest. Temperatures max out at around 23 degrees. And as you can see, I will leave you with a summary.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Our thanks to Des for that. And that is it. Gwen and Campbell will be back with the late update. That's after the ITV News as always. But from me and the team, thanks for watching.